One more time for the greatest team in America.
In July 1981, I walked into the field house for our first official press conference. And you know the story. I met Bucky going out the other way, and I asked him if this wasn't where the press conference was. He said, yeah, but since this is a football press conference, I think we ought to have a football. And he was going across the street to Kmart to buy a football so that we'd have one for our first press conference. Here we are, almost 10 years later, and we've come a long way. We now have a whole bag full of footballs.
You know, you get a lot of opportunities that come by that you see and you look at them, you analyze them, and we always try to look in the future and look ahead, see what's going to happen to us. When I realized that game, they were looking for a place for that game. They weren't happy with where it was. And I see what we got coming up. We're going to be really good at 89. We're going to be really good, and that game's out there. So what the hell if we could get that game at home?
I think Bucky did a tremendous job. A lot of folks thought, man, this thing is not going to work. What are we going to have to pay to get it? But as it turned out, it worked great, and he was genius for getting and being aggressive doing that.
We got a committee here from Savannah and Statesboro, and made a presentation to the NCAA. What we tried to do is we tried to bring the Savannah entertainment. We had a low country boil at Fort there on our way out to Tybee, and we had fireworks display in River Street. So we had a lot of good activities, and we went in and we did things with the committee, like we find out when they had their wake-up call in the morning, when they were going to wake up, and we had one of the gals on the committee would knock on their door with donuts and coffee, and we entertained them, and we ended up getting the game here. We get 4 playoff games in a row and then play at home. My fans are saying, Bucky, no Christmas at my house, you got all my money. Because they had to buy tickets every week. It says, not another home game, not another home game.
You know, leading up to it, the semifinals leading up to that, it sleeted here during the semifinal game. Montana. They claimed they was coming to town and was going to borrow our stuff and stay for 2 weeks and needed our stuff to practice. That we was no competition for them, but that score shows different.
There were a lot of shows on about the season, 14-0, and I can remember us in the dorm room saying, man, we can't lose this game. And it was just, we couldn't go to sleep. I don't think I went to sleep the night before the game at all.
We stayed in Savannah. It's because they wanted us to also have the championship experience, right? They had all the festivities over there, went to the fort and had the oyster cookout and the fans, and so they wanted to actually make it so that we could experience too, even though it was our own home turf. We stayed in Savannah.
I think a lot of people that had picked up on Georgia Southern that weren't necessarily Georgia Southern fans. They saw the momentum, they saw a lot of our games on TV that were exciting. It was a different brand of football, and they just, they came and we packed this place. The Stephen F. Austin game was just unbelievable. I mean, you talking about the shoe spoon shoving people in spaces, we did.
Huge crowd. We brought in bleachers. The hill where the Ted Smith Family Football Operations Center is now was full. It was beautiful. The game was cold but perfect. Definitely had the championship feel. We got to play at our house, and we earned it.
You know, that's special when you walk out here and you're playing at home in front of your home fans. Your parents don't have to travel far.
The energy here was just, I don't think it's been that way but a few times since then.
We got involved with the state of Florida with their travel and tourism, and they came up with like $35,000 to get Lee Greenwood to come in and sing. So they provided that for us. Well, at halftime, Lee Greenwood walks up at halftime, he's gonna sing Proud to Be an American. He gets up on national TV, headshot, shot, He unzips his leather jacket, opens it up. He's got Georgia Southern on his shirt underneath it, national TV, and he's singing, "I'm proud to be an American."
You know, the atmosphere was crazy because, you know, nobody expected us to get back, but us. You know, everybody that we had coming back, the pressure on you, people don't think you can handle it. But being back in Burrow, knowing what we were going to have as far as support goes, knowing what kind of atmosphere was going to be there, it was supposed to happen. And I'm a firm believer in faith, and things are supposed to happen the way that they do. And being in Paulson Stadium on that Saturday, and live television game being broadcasted, and two great teams coming into play, and one that was on a mission to redeem themselves from the previous year, I think it was, you know, we knew what we had to do, and we were going to go do it.
We started well right off the bat. On their first series, they had a couple of bad plays. We were able to score in our first two possessions.
34 yards out. Three receivers to throw to. Hamill straight back, zips it over the middle, tipped, and intercepted. Randall makes that Jim Unimer. Jim Unimer with the tip and the interception, and Georgia Southern's going to take over. Third down call. Miller starts one way. Now Gross wants to cut it upfield. Has the first down. 35, 30. Freeman needs one more block. 20. Still going. He dropped the football. It's loose. And it's going to be recovered by Stephen F. Austin at the Stephen F. Austin 17-yard line.
Stephen F. Austin was a battle. They had some great players. They had Larry Simmons, who played fullback in the NFL for quite a few years. I can remember him scoring a touchdown and trying to stop and couldn't stop and jumped flat-footed over the fence at the end of the field like it was nothing. I mean, just athletic ability. Had a great quarterback playing for him. Defense was tough. They had a real tough defense.
Now, Stephen F. Austin in the national championship game, they were dang good, and they gave us all we wanted, but that team was on a mission.
Zips it over the middle. His man is there, and he makes the catch. Come after the quarterback. He's back to throw, all kind of time. Throws for the touchdown. Caught. We got a 14-13 game. He's dropping straight back to throw. Looks over the middle and zips. It's caught. There's Bradford. Look out if he gets by one more. He's down to the Georgia Southern 35-yard line. Ball placed down. Here's Rollinson's kick. It's up, and it is going to be good. The outside rush. Hamill's going to be chased out of the pocket. He gets away from one. He goes down. There's the first sack. Ball placed down. The kick is up. It has plenty of distance. This kick is good. We're tied 20-20. 8-yard line, the Lumberjacks, but motion right side of the field. Hamill wants to throw it that way. He zips in the end zone, and it is caught. Touchdown, Bradford.
They were a really good football team. Really good football team. But obviously, you get to that point, you're not going to be playing any bad teams. But again, the advantage that we had, not too many teams saw triple option, a true spread option with Tracy Ham running it, and, you know, or Raymond Gross running it at the time, and nobody saw that a lot. And so we had that advantage, but of course they could throw the ball all over the field. They had a great running back as well. Yeah, he was a good one, and so we knew we had our hands, you know, full, and so they obviously caught back up to us. We jumped out on them.
And Gross spins to the right, still has the football, gonna get hit, gonna go forward, 5, 3, 2, he is down at the 1-yard line. He's not in, but he's at the 1-yard line of Stephen F. Austin. Gross tries Thompson, he goes up and over, touchdown! Georgia Southern is in with Ernest.
So I went up, got popcorn, walked outside the Eagle Club, and in the little concrete barrier just outside the side door stood Jean Russell, Coach Russell's wife, Jean. I knew she was not interested in any conversation, nor was I, so I just walked up and stood side of her, and we just sort of looked at each other and raised our eyebrows, you know, and grimaced a little bit. During one of the breaks, you know, there'd been the rumor that Russell was going to retire, and I said, Jean, do you think, Coach, is this going to wrap it up? And she said, Irk is so tired. She said, Wanda, Irk is so tired. And I never, until the day he announced his retirement, I told Dan, I guess, but I never told anybody that she had said that. But I knew right then that that would be his last game with us as coach.
Third down, Hamels dropping straight back to throw. Hendricks chasing him, trying to get him. He throws it up for grabs, and it is intercepted. Intercepted by Georgia Southern at the 30-yard line. He put it up.
It was 34-34, and just very close to the end of the game, and I can see Mike Dowis on that field right now, and when his toe hit leather and it went through the uprights, Georgia Southern had won that national championship 37-34.
37-34, 141 left to go.
I'll tell you funny on that. I used to mess with David Cool and Dowis as a holder. I'd make little comments to them. And I used to always say something along the lines of, hey, I might fake this one and roll out as the holder, right? They knew I was joking. I remember Dallas getting ready to kick, and I was so nervous because I just got to catch this snap, got to get it down, right? He looked at me and said, don't even say it. Don't even say it. I was like, don't worry, you know? And all I kept thinking was, catch the ball, put it down. Catch the ball, put it down. And I caught the ball, put it down. He did his job as he always did, made it. And I was so excited I ran off the field, right? And I look back on it and go, no, you're supposed to turn around and hold the kicker, right? Pull him up. Because I forgot who did it, but then I would have been in all the newspapers picking him up, you know?
And at that point, it was just a matter of us not letting them drive the field. And I think we got a big sack by Giff, if I'm not mistaken. And then it was just kind of a Hail Mary. And, I was back there to pick it off.
Back. He looks, he's throwing it deep down the center of the field, and it's intercepted! Intercepted by Whitley! 35, 40.
I can just remember everybody saying, get down, get down.
Keep going, slides down, 40.
And I wanted to score, but I said, I think I better get down, because if you knew Coach Spangler and them, we'd have won the game, but they still probably would have done something to me, so.
Georgia Southern with 12 seconds to go. Penalty flags are being thrown late. The Eagles have done it. They've done it again. 12 seconds remaining. The stadium going crazy. Listen to him. Raymond Gross has just got to take the snap and fall on the ball. He puts his knee down. Let's count it down. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Eagles have done it. They've done it. They're national champions. The Eagles have done it. The place is going crazy. People are pouring onto the field. They've already torn down the goalposts.
Sad part is Irk decided to hang it up after that, but good for him. Undefeated, you can't get much better than that.
I'm retiring as an active, and I use the term active very loosely because I haven't been very active in a long time. But as an active coach, because I've coached long enough, I've done it for 40 years. 40 is a good round number. And that should be enough. I hope it is.
And I think the War Department, Mrs. Russell probably encouraged him to slow down. He never called a War Department to her face because that wasn't a good thing to do, but.
I was glad that he was able to go out on his own terms, and he was able to, do it the way he wanted to do it. 15-0, at home, in Statesboro. He probably couldn't write a story any better. So, hopefully we can get him in the Hall of Fame, and that will, cap it all off.
Irk Russell's presence when he came to Georgia Southern put this football program 10 to 12 to 14 years ahead of where it would ever be had we hired someone else.
To be able to look up there and see a full house most every Saturday, and especially to see those bumper stickers that were in our parking lot that used to read Georgia and Georgia Tech and Auburn and Florida and all those things have been replaced with Georgia Southern. Hell, we're Georgia Southern. Our colors are blue and white, and we're proud of it. I feel this way, that no matter how hard things are, no matter how tough the road is, you can always do something that you really want to do just one more time.
You know, we were able to separate father, son, coach, assistant coach, you know, most of the time. But, you know, he was my mentor. I wanted to be like him. He was a special dude. I mean, he got it. He knew how to flip every switch that needed to be flipped. You know, I was able to learn under who I believe to be the greatest coach of all time. And I don't think anybody has ever come close to doing, you know, the miraculous job that he did at Georgia Southern. To start with 150 walk-ons, 130 walk-ons or whatever, and to, in 3 years, to have a national championship program is pretty darn amazing. I think his presence is still felt there. If there ever was a Hall of Fame coach, you know, he's certainly deserving of that recognition.
People kept asking me about Coach Russell leaving. Coach Russell never leaves Statesboro. Coach Russell is Georgia Southern.
To say that I've enjoyed my experience at Georgia Southern would be an understatement. This has been the greatest experience of my young life. And that's the end of my unprepared statement.